Hello and welcome to another podcast episode with your host, Rob Reynosa, on the No Ceilings Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being here. We got Christmas approaching. As you can see the tree behind me over there if you're viewing this on video. We have Christmas approaching, the holidays approaching, and also a lot of mixed, weird feelings approaching as well. For many of us who experience the holidays, it's not always all fun and happy and joy and all this other crap, right? Sometimes it's kind of weird, it gets depressing. We start reminiscing about or remembering and recalling moments with our past, with our family, maybe deceased parents or whatnot. So it's not always a time of happiness and joy. There's sometimes a lot of weirdness involved too. And today's episode, I want to dedicate talking a little bit about that. I sent out an email a few days ago titled, "Do This When You Feel Depressed." And I wrote this from a place of a shitload of vulnerability. I was feeling vulnerable as shit, and I felt the need to share this part of my experience, what was going on right now. And there was something that I was seeing that was approaching, this dark cloud, this big, huge dark cloud. And I don't come from like a depressed background where I've had a bunch of depressed moments and whatnot. The first one that I can recall was when I was going through, it's called the Dark Night of the Soul. You may or may not have heard of that. And it was back in like 2000, I want to say 13 or 14, where, I was already going through my spiritual awakening. But my reality, this reality that was being fabricated around me from the lens of this spiritual awakening I was having, just came crumbling down. Everything came crumbling down. I don't get it. But anyways, as soon as I pressed record, that started happening. We'll just keep going with that. We'll keep that in the mix. So for those of you who are viewing this, you can see what was going on with the cat behind me. For those of you who are listening and heard the stuff in the background, one of the cats was like losing his mind and like jumping from the tree to the couch to the back to the tree. Anyways, I just could laugh about it, roll with the punches. Back in 2014 or 13, I was having this experience, Dark Night of the Soul, and I was confronted with another crash of my reality. Everything just came crashing down, and I was face to face with certain parts of myself that I had to face. I had to deal with it, and it was depressing because I was like, fuck, man, I've been doing this work, and then here it is again, slamming me right in my face, this reality. And, there's a whole lot more to it that goes into that story, but like I said, I'm going to be brief about this. And then last year, around this time, ballpark around this time, give or take maybe a month, I was going through a really tough time in my life, and there were a lot of things not working out for me. And I hadn't seen this part yet. However, someone else had seen a part of me appearing to be going through a depression. So that other person is Angie Sanchez, my girlfriend, and she had said, "Hey, I think you're going through a depression." She was pointing out some signs, and she's like, I'm no doctor, but she's like, I know depression. I was depressed. What you're experiencing, these symptoms, all these things that are going on right now, the way you're thinking, the way you're talking, it appears to be that you're going through depression. Have you considered that? And I was like, fuck, right when she said that, I was like, damn it. Like it just, when you hear something, like whether it's from a book, you read something, or you hear something from audio, or someone that says something to you, and then all of a sudden it just clicks, it just hits you differently. That's what happened. It hit me differently. And in that moment, I was just like, shit, man. Like, I think so too. And so immediately, right when I was faced with that reality or that possibility, I started to do the work around that. And I started to explore that deeper. Of course, I got into Google and was like searching some things that I had been thinking and experiencing, and I had to be real with myself. Like I was coming from a place at a certain point. I was thinking like, man, like what would it be like if I didn't exist anymore? Like what would have happened to certain people if I didn't exist? And so I don't go there in my mind. I never go there in my mind at all. And I was going there, and I hadn't noticed that pattern, and so I had to deal with that. I had to confront that and figure out what was going on there. And within about maybe a week, I was good. I was clear. And there was one thing that I did in that moment that changed everything. And it's the same thing that I did this time around. The same exact thing. Except this time around, I saw the dark cloud approaching. The dark cloud being that depression, that depressing environment, not even environment, just the reality that we create when we start to go in those weird spaces. I saw that cloud approaching. And I said, fuck that shit, man. I already know what's up with there. I already know what's up. I already know what's in that cloud. I ain't trying to go back to that cloud. I'm good. I'm good on that. And so I woke up two mornings ago, I believe it was, and I laid in bed again for like 2 hours more than, so I woke up, I laid in bed for 2 hours. I was like half awake, half asleep, trying to get myself to go back to sleep. I don't do that. That's not in my nature. My eyes, I don't care if it's 3:30 in the morning. If I go to sleep and I wake up at 3:30 in the morning because my eyes wake up, I get up. And then when I see the time, I'm like, damn, do I really want to do this right now? Like, am I really trying to get up right now? Or can I like go to bed and get like maybe 2 hours sleep in? Yeah, let's just do that. Like, but I come from a place of like power, right? It's not like, oh, I gotta get back. Anyways, so the last couple days, except for yesterday, but the day before and the days before that, I didn't want to get out of bed. I was like laying in bed till 10:30 in the morning, which is not normal for me. I'm typically up by 6 a.m. Usually, if I'm in California, I'm up by 4:30 a.m. But here, since I hadn't been here in Miami, I've been here for 3 weeks, almost 3 weeks now. I've been getting up at 10, and you know, like around that time. That was one sign that I noticed. Waking up late, or waking up and then forcing myself to go back to sleep when I didn't want to, and then being groggy most of the day. One of the other signs that I had was that I didn't feel motivated to do anything. And then the third sign was about 3 days ago. So it was the day before I noticed the sleeping pattern. About 3 days ago, I started to question my purpose. Like, am I even living my purpose? Am I in alignment with my purpose? Once I go there, there's some fucking wiring going wrong. There's some shit going wrong. And I know that. Like, once I start questioning my purpose, there's something off big time, because that's one of my values, to live my purpose, to express my purpose. And I believe our purpose, our purposes, we have many purposes through life. We create that shit. We create our purpose. We create that meaning and that whatever it is that we're here to do on this planet by tapping into our gifts, by tapping into our passions, but we make it our purpose, right? So we give ourselves a purpose through desire, through seeking out what our purpose is, right? I'm going into this whole thing about purpose. So I know damn well what my purpose is, at least for now. And I'm tapped into that. I'm super tapped into myself, to my higher self, intuition, the universe, whatever you want to call it, tapped in. So once that came up, I was like, damn, this is weird. Something's up. Still didn't give it too much attention because I was like, nah, I'm good. It wasn't until 2 days ago when I was like laying in bed for that extended amount of time again. And when I went to go get up, I didn't feel like getting up at all. And I was thinking like, damn, like I don't feel like getting up. And that's when like I closed my eyes and I literally saw like a cloud, like a storm coming in. And I laid there and I was like telling myself, dude, get the fuck up. Let's go. Get up, get up, get up. Let's go, bro. Get up, get into action. You know what to do right now. Get into action. And I'm telling myself this, and it's a lot worse. I'm cursing at myself in my mind. That's just how I pep talk myself up. And I get up. I don't even know if I took a shower or not, but I got changed into my gym clothes. I hurried up and got my gym clothes out because I'm like, all right, I need to go run. Like, I need to go move and get into action, do something about it. And I just didn't want to hold on to it anymore and just sit with it, because I think I had been sitting with it for too long, these feelings. And I share a little bit more about these feelings that I'm talking about. So I shared it with my partner, with Angie, and I told her, I said, hey, I just want to be real with you about something. And we're real with each other about all types of shit, crazy shit, fun shit, psycho shit. And so like I shared with her, I was like, yo, hey, this is what's up. And I gave her the rundown, like, this is what's happening. And I see that storm approaching. It's getting very familiar, and certain habits that I don't typically do, I'm starting to do right now. Like, for example, laying in bed. That's not who I am. I don't lay in bed like that. And so, so as I'm sharing this with her, you know, she's asking me certain questions back, and I'm like reflecting on this stuff, and I start kind of getting closer and closer. You know how, you know, when you're sharing things and then when a person is reflecting back to you certain things and asking you empowering questions, you know how that goes. Being with somebody or even working with the coach, that's what happens when you work with the coach as well. I started to reflect a little bit deeper, and I started to see some of the patterns, and then started to identify certain things. And I'm like, damn, like, I think I know what it is. Like, it is me not being in action. Like, I know I have to get into action to move this energy around, because I know that, and this is what I share with my clients as well. It's like, if you want to move, your emotions, like if you want to start moving that energy, you have to get into motion. You have to get into motion. You have to move around. And so I knew that I had to go out and do something physical. That's my shit. I love to run, I love to work out. But I started to identify that certain things that I wasn't fulfilling, certain daily tasks that I wasn't fulfilling. There were certain things, an event that I'm putting on next month, that I haven't really moved a whole lot towards. And I'm not trying to make excuses here. There's a lot of things going on in my life. There's been a lot of things happening since I first got back here into Miami. Then prior to before that, there was a whole lot of other shit going on in my life. And what am I trying to say here? All of this stuff has been coming at me nonstop, right? I can handle that shit. I can handle what life throws at me. No problem. I got this shit. But I wasn't dealing with certain things the best way possible. I was allowing myself to sit with it for too long. And it started to affect my effectiveness, my delivery, how I'm showing up, building my brand, putting out my work, connecting with my clients. It started to affect my business a little bit. That's not cool. Well, that's one of my values as well, is business. So if I'm not fulfilling my values, for example, I'll paint a little picture here. Let's say you value working out. Let's say you don't work out for 2 days and you start to get pissed off and annoyed at the world because you're like, I need to go fucking work out, right? Same thing with jiu-jitsu too. I'll tell Angie sometimes, like, I need to go choke somebody. Like, I need to go choke somebody or get choked. Like, I need to get on the mat. I need to get on the mat because it's one of my values as well. Well, fitness and wellness and working out and putting myself through stress like that, physical stress, it's one of my values. I need it. It's the exertion of energy. It feels fucking amazing. Anyways, so you get what I'm saying, right? Like, when you value something and you don't do it for a few days, you start to feel weird, like cranky, like, ugh, what the hell's going on, right? So when I don't perform, when I don't show up in my business and my purpose and expressing myself in the ways that I'm supposed to be doing, or that I feel that is my duty to do, it's like I love to do it, it's my value, I get weird. I get a little weird. I get a little disconnected, disoriented. Well, you take 3 weeks of that, of not being effective, what do you think you're gonna have? You're gonna feel overwhelmed, and that's what I felt. I felt a bunch of overwhelm. I felt there was like hesitation now on certain things. I don't hesitate like that. I make a decision and figure it out along the way. I was hesitating. I was feeling all types of weird emotions and feelings. There's some stuff, personal stuff going on too, where it's just like weighing on me like crazy. Dealing with other people's stuff. You know, it's just life, right? Such is life. It just was getting really heavy. I started to feel overwhelmed because I wasn't putting myself into action and taking care of these tasks, these daily minimal tasks. I was feeling the weight of it. I was feeling heavy. I was feeling out of tune, out of touch with myself. So what do you think happens when you start to feel that overwhelm and the disconnection from yourself? Basically, you're stagnant, right? What happens with that? It all gets really heavy. It all gets really confusing. A storm starts to create and generate itself around you. Things get really weird. Your head gets cloggy. You start to hesitate. What do I do? I don't know what to do. You know damn well what to do, Rob. You know what to do, man. And I wasn't tapped into that. I was starting to kind of close up and shell up a little bit. That cloud that was approaching that I saw, those feelings I felt of like not wanting to get up, not feeling motivated to do what I had to do, it was all too familiar. I know that shit. That shit doesn't work. That will bring me into a depression, a depressing feeling. So the same thing I did last time that I said I did that one thing that worked, that I did this time was I got into action. Action, action, action. And I'm not talking about massive action, like I went off and accomplished, like, you know, like saved a burning school or some shit. I got into action where I was like, all right, what's the minimum things that I can do right now? What are the minimal things that I can do right now that fill my cup? Cool, go for a run, work out, do some journaling, get a little meditation in. I have some clients today, so I gotta make sure my cup's filled no matter what, because I have to show up for my clients. There's no way in hell I'm gonna show up half-assed. Had some amazing, mind-blowing sessions that day. Cup was filled feeling successful, feeling fulfilled. And yeah, that created that momentum. So action. I got into action. I got really clear about what are these next things that I have to do. And I got into action. One of the other things that I listed here in this email was that this whole entire time I'm observing this stuff, right? I'm observing what's happening. I'm observing my state, observing everything, my energy, all that shit. And not once did I make myself wrong for it. Not once did I make myself feel guilty for it. Not once. Didn't feel bad. Didn't feel like a victim. Didn't feel, oh, poor white me. Oh, why is this happening again? Fuck that weak shit. No. I stood there calmly, shared with Angie what was going on. Okay, cool. So what are you going to do next? Boom. This is what I'm going to do. Boom. This is what I'm going to do. Because I know that once I get into motion, it changes your emotions. It moves your emotions around. That's what I have to do. Get into action. Once I got into action, it was like breaking apart the pieces. But again, I was coming from a place of observation, no judgment. You don't want to judge yourself. And that's one of the key things here too, is if you start to feel yourself having anxiety or depressed, or if you feel beat up about something that didn't go your way, don't judge yourself. Acknowledge yourself. Like, ask yourself simple questions. Like, what did I do right? What can I do better next time? How do I be effective? What can I do to be effective? Right now, like, you fucking suck. You let these people down. You're letting these people down. You're not stepping up. Don't do that. You'll keep yourself down and you'll put yourself into a deeper depression. All right, that's a big, huge takeaway right there. Big time. All right, so I had my self-talk in place, started talking to myself, started talking shit to myself, but in a healthy way. That's how I respond to it. All right. I got up and I committed to running and to working out. So I got my run in, got my workout in. And again, I had a conversation with my partner. We talked some things out. So I put it out there so I'm not holding on to it and not feeling all compressed and tight and stuff like that. Again, got into action. And then I also served my clients with my absolute best. I'm reading off of my email right here. So I served my clients with my absolute best, and I continuously tapped into gratitude. So here's one thing here. Here's a huge, huge, huge takeaway. If you want to feel better about yourself and feel better about your life, do something for other people. I so happen to be in the business where I help other people better their minds, better their psychology, better themselves, and better their lives. So me stepping into that realm that day by helping my clients, automatically I'm giving. But I made sure that my cup was full that morning. I made sure that I filled it up with a nice badass workout, a nice badass run, some meditation, tapping into my goals, eating well, boom, delivered all day long. So contribution is another way. If you're ever dealing with some sort of depression or an approaching depression, or you're like, man, I had an email from a gentleman here, Jack Williams, was talking about he got fired. He from this was it like a delivery job, truck delivery job for a grocery market. Things are getting tight, finances are getting tight, kind of out of touch with what he should do next. My suggestion to you and to anybody else is find a way to get yourself into action. What are some goals that you want to do right now, or that you've been wanting to do? And what are 3 things that you could do to get yourself closer to that? One of them could be getting clear on the next best step. Another one could be taking that next best step. Maybe it's booking something. Maybe it's identifying how much money you'll need for the accomplishment of the next best step. It's up to you, but you got to get clear on what are the next best moves that I can make right now to move me closer. Because that's such a gratifying feeling, is to move towards a goal. It's that forward progression, which means it's success. That's what success is. It's succession. It's to move forward. It's a badass feeling when you're moving towards something that you're passionate about, that you love. Secondly, find a way you can contribute to another person. Even if it's giving $5 or $1 to somebody, I feel great. I know I feel amazing when I can help other people out. So find a way to contribute. Find any way to contribute. And that's easy to do. And that's a really great feeling to tap into too when you're giving. You're also activating something else called the law of reciprocity. So when you're giving, you're opening up. As you're giving, you're opening up this channel, but at the same time, that open channel is also allowing other stuff to come in. But that's not why we're giving. We're giving because we want to feel better, because we want to help somebody out. But just understand that's what happens as well. When you give, when you push something out, you allow access for other stuff to come in. All right? Was that it? Was that all I want? Oh yeah, the gratitude part. The gratitude part. That's, man. I know I wrote about this before, and I think that email was titled something around like thank you, or had like something about saying thank you. When I'm saying thank you to myself over and over and over again, and I'm imagining these certain things that I want to bring into my life experience, and I'm saying thank you, thank you for this. I'm so grateful for that. You know, this is already unfolding right before my eyes. I'm so grateful for this income coming in. I'm so grateful for being able to travel to these places. It's so beautiful to travel to these places. I love traveling. Thank you for such harmonious relationships. Man, it feels so good to do this line of work and to get paid for it and to help people change their lives. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So you start tapping into that. Start tapping into gratitude. And it literally changes the way your body functions, the way your brain functions. It changes your chemical makeup. So we're not gonna get into all of that right now, but when you start to practice gratitude, it literally changes your vibration, changes your frequency. And the frequency, your vibration, is the root cause for everything. Your frequency is the root for everything. Your frequency will attract, if you're tapped into this negative Nancy, bad mood, I hate the world, like I'm depressed, right? I'm not making fun of depression, but like, oh man, I'm so depressed, like my life sucks. What do you think you're going to attract? Because you're activating your RAS system, your reticular activating system. So you're looking for things that suck. While you have so many things that are going right in your life, you're looking for the things that suck because that's your frequency. That's your vibration. And since you're tapped into that frequency, you have no other choice in that moment but to see what sucks that feeds that frequency. When I noticed my frequency was off, it took me a few days to actually notice, especially with the habits and all that. I switched it up. I changed my frequency. I stepped outside. I got back out in nature. I started running. I started working out. I pushed myself to exhaustion because I know when I do that, I feel great. I feel amazing. I amped up my vibration. I amped up my frequency. So I started to look at all the things that I was grateful for. I started to look for all the things that were going right. And that, my friends, I believe is one of the main keys to battling depression, to getting yourself out of those depressing moments, is get into action. Get into action. A lot of times we feel depressed because we feel like this sense of hopelessness. We feel stagnation. We feel stuck. I don't know what to do next. I don't even know if I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing in my life. Am I wasting my time? I regret my past. This sucks. I don't know, right? That's kind of a common thing that people go through. And I know to a degree I was experiencing some of that. I don't know what to do next. There's so much coming at me. There's so much on my plate that I take on too much. What's going on? No, motherfucker, you're just not getting into action. You're not doing the goddamn shit that's right in front of you because you're not taking action. So I got into action. That moved the energy around. So anyways, that's my input. That's my 2 cents on this, on how to get through depression, at least from my perspective. Like I said, I'm not a physician. I'm not certified really in anything. A lot of people don't know that. I'm not certified. I am not a physician. I'm not a doctor. So if you're experiencing something like this, I suggest you go get some sort of help, professional help. And if you choose not to, look this shit up. Just look this shit up. How do I get out of a depression? Look it up and see what you find. My personal perspective, not even a suggestion, my personal perspective and what has worked for me is to get into action. First of all, like, observe what's going on. Admit that, all right, I feel like shit right now. I feel like this could be something along those lines. Do I want to feel this way anymore? Fuck, no, I don't. How do I want to feel? I at least want to feel good about myself. I at least want to feel tapped in. I at least want to like hear my intuition or see numbers. I want to see like 1111 somewhere, you know, whatever that makes you feel good. Sometimes that makes people feel good when they start seeing confirmation from the universe, the numbers or animal totems or whatnot. Like I at least want to feel somewhat good. Okay, cool. So then what can I do right now? What can I do to feel good? Well, when I do X, Y, and Z, I feel good. If X, Y, and Z isn't movement, fucking include movement into your X, Y, and Z. Get outside, move your energy around. Last but not least here, If you're in cold climates, I know it could be difficult. I was stationed in North Dakota for a while, and man, that shit gets down to like negative 20, 30 with wind chill. It sucks balls. It sucks. So like what we did, or rather what I did, was I resorted to a lot of drinking out there. And that doesn't help when you can't get outside and you can't move around because everything's packed with ice and snow and there's a wind chill that runs right through your body. You're not playing outside, you're not moving around, you're not getting any sun for sure. So what I did back then, which I should have done more, but again, if you're in a cold climate, this might be a little more difficult, but find or create a routine inside for you to move around. Do some movement inside. You can look up stuff on YouTube or whatnot. But also, like, most likely if you're listening to my podcast right now and you're watching this video, you're in that realm of personal development and personal growth. Most likely, you're curious about what drives you, what excites you, what turns you on. You're looking for ways to better your life. You're looking for ways to serve humanity. So therefore, you're kind of if you're looking for ways to serve humanity, you're kind of tapping into that entrepreneurial mindset by providing service, by providing value. Find ways to provide value. Find ways to enhance yourself. Go read some books. So anyways, again, it's all about action. When you feel depressed and you feel that weird sense, that weird feeling coming on, and you don't want to go there anymore, you're tired of that shit like I was like, yo, that shit's for the birds, man. I'm good. I got into action, and that helped. That helped big time. So I hope this helps you. I hope this provides some sort of pathway for you so you can create something good out of your situation, because there's always, 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 always a way through, a way around, a way over every single circumstance and situation that we're dealing with, that we're face to face with, including certain mental states like depression. There's always a way through, always a way through. So don't hesitate at all to ask for help. If you need help, you can always email me at connect@thereisnoceiling.com. Again, I didn't say this time, but again, share this podcast. If this helped you in any way, please share this podcast. Share it on your Instagram, share it on your Facebook. Text somebody like, yo, listen to this. Share this, because the only way this really gets around is through friends' contacts, by sharing it with your buddies, with your friends and whatnot. So I would appreciate that. It helps me fulfill my purpose and my mission here, which is to help lift off these barriers, man, lift off these ceilings, to have people tapping into the greatest potential and to create their life by conscious design. So as you know, conscious creators, we are the future. There is no ceiling.